because it's out of the, whatever. Doing great today. Welcome back to Waiting Moose, as I was saying, and today I'm going to be doing another episode of What's on My Nightstand. I've actually got 2 stacks of books on my nightstand right now because I picked some for my April TBR, and then I went to the library. So we'll start with the ones I grabbed off my shelf first, and then I will talk about the ones that I got at the library. So I'm going to start actually with a book that I've finished, and that is The Woman Who Died a Lot by Jasper Fforde. This is the 7th book in the Thursday Next series. There are 2 more books, it looks like, scheduled to come out in the series, but we've been waiting on those for quite a while, so I'm not sure what's going on with this series. This book definitely ends with more coming in the story. I don't know if it's not a cliffhanger, but there's definitely some direction left there in the story and places for it to go. In this one, we see Thursday fighting against, this is a finished book, obviously I've read it. We see Thursday still fighting against Goliath Corporation, and in doing that, she meets up with Jack Shit again. That's S-C-H-I-T-T, like Schitt's Creek. She also is fighting, they're called day players, and they're basically bodies that are created to accept the thoughts and memories of a person, but they only last for a certain amount of time. And yeah, so there's 7 of them in this book, and yeah, there's a whole story about that. So I would call this science fiction / fantasy. These books are based partially in the fictional world and partially not, partially in the real world. This one actually was more in the real world because Thursday has lost her ability to read herself into fiction. She's also no longer on the literary detectives. She is now the head librarian. Yeah, chief librarian at the Swindon all-you-can-eat at Fatso's drink not included library. Yeah, but so obviously there's much going on there. These books are absurd. They're very good British insane fiction. So they always make me laugh, but yeah, sometimes they go a little above my head, especially with the time travel stuff. Definitely above my knowledge and skills. So also on my nightstand, these are books that I have not read yet, and these are the ones that were on my TBR. For April, I have Murder, She Wrote, Skating on Thin Ice. Pretty self-explanatory. It's a series that, I mean, I love Jessica Fletcher. It's based on the Murder, She Wrote TV series and those characters, and I'm trying to make my way through the books now, and it's a lot of fun, but I think there's like 46 of them, so it's going to take me a while. I've read 10. Yeah, another series I stupidly started. Hoka Hoka Hoka. This is by Gordon Dixon and Paul Anderson, and this is a science fiction book. I don't know if you can see it there, but the cover of it is just delightful. The teddy bears in space. Basically, that's the best way to talk about that book. I've read the first one in the series. There's 3 books, I believe, in the series. I read the first one in the series just over a year ago on vacation, and it was a great beach read because they're all short stories about these teddy bears in space and what happens when humans encounter them. So I'm looking forward to more of that. Chuck Wendig's The Cormorant. This book is the 3rd in the Miriam Black series, and I am actually trying to make a concerted effort to work my way through some of my series, which is why I'm trying to focus on the ones that I have on my shelves and that I own next in series for. And I'll be doing a video actually about my series soon, if I haven't already put it up. I'm not sure what order these are going to go up in. So yeah, we'll talk about series later. And then finally, another science fiction book. This is a big detour from March Mystery Madness, but John Scalzi's Redshirts, and this is obviously a take on the Star Trek, the guy going down to the planet in the red shirt is the one that's going to die on the planet theme. So I haven't read it yet. John Scalzi's actually a very popular science fiction writer. He wrote the Old Man's War series, and he also is the author of Lock In, which is a medical science fiction thriller book, and then he's got the 2nd book in that Lock In series out now, I believe, or it's coming out really soon. So those are the books that I originally planned to read. Then I went to the library. library because I'd requested a book, again, because I'm trying to wave it around, because I'm trying to finish some of the series that I've started. So I went to the library because I've requested Sleight of Paw, which is a magical cat mystery written by Sophie Kelly, and these books are really cute. I read the first one last year and I enjoyed it. So our main character, Kathleen, is the librarian. She's not the library. She's the librarian in Minnesota, in a fictional town in Minnesota. But she's originally from Boston, and she's got these two cats that kind of adopted her. Yeah, so it's a story about them. I'm like that far through it. I've already started reading it, obviously, because I am trying to catch up on that series. And then I went to the true crime section because March Mystery Madness kind of got me interested in true crime, and I picked up Prairie Mysteries, Crimes, and Scandals, and it's by Peter B. Smith. Now, this book is really short, and there's 7 stories in here, so I've already read this, and I gotta say, it's not my favorite true crime. A lot of the stories read like poorly written newspaper articles, poorly researched. It's just like a really high-level sketch of what happened in the true crime story, and it just wasn't what I was hoping for. I should have known better given the length of it and the number of stories that were in it, but a girl can hope, right? I also found Say Yes to the Marquess by Tessa Dare. Now, in January, I started reading this series as part of my serial killers group on Goodreads, and I kind of stopped after the first book in the series because other things came up and March Mystery Madness happened, and so now I'm getting back to it. So this is the 2nd out of 4, and it's Say Yes to the Marquess, and again, Tessa Dare. Historical romance with a bit of a twist, right? Like the first one was very comedic, and the other thing I noticed was that in the first one, the hero was flawed. He had a disability, and it was really interesting to see how she wrote him as an extremely sympathetic and strong character even with that. So I really enjoyed that. Savage Run by CJ Box. This is the 2nd in the Joe Pickett series. It's a long series that I started reading last year, and they had this book at my library in the paperback section, so I had to grab it. Joe Pickett is a National Park Ranger? Game warden. Similar. So he's a game warden in Wyoming, I believe. So this is like the 2nd series that I'm reading that's set in the outdoors in Wyoming, which is probably going to be one of my next... yeah, I should really do a recommendation. I should really talk about that. It's not really a genre on its own, but you know. Speaking of books, outdoor set books, based in Wyoming, I've got Craig Johnson's Any Other Name, which is the Walt Longmire series. You may have watched it, Longmire, on Netflix. The books are quite different, I think, from the series, the Netflix series, but they are basically based on the same characters for the most part. So yeah, that is Any Other Name by Craig Johnson. This one I just started 2 years ago, and I have made my way. I think there's only 2 or 3 more books after I'm done this one left for me to read, and I'll be caught up on that series. But he's still actively putting books out in that series. So yeah, I got a long way to go to catch up. So that's what's on my nightstand right now. Obviously, the library books are going to take precedence. I'll be reading those before I get to the ones that are off my shelf, unfortunately, because some of those are books that have been on my shelf for a while, but I'm hoping to get to as many of them as I can this month. If you've noticed, I haven't really been posting a lot of videos lately because we had a big project at work. In the last half, well, really, the first part of this year, really, from January to now, I've been rather busy, but it was really only in the month of March where it started, like, flowing over into my personal life. Or, you know, before I felt like we had everything on track and we'd be able to actually meet our deadlines without working overtime. And in the last half of March, it became rapidly clear that that was not possible. So I've been working a lot of overtime, I've been working weekends, and my ability to like read went down. Yeah, basically I just haven't had time to film videos or edit videos or read or do anything other than come home and crawl into bed. eating supper if I so chose. A couple nights my husband's like, no, you need to not just crawl into bed. You need to have something to eat, and you need to, maybe crawl into a tub with a book so you can relax because you're really stressed right now. So, yeah. And my shout out, I should be doing these earlier in my videos, and I'm so sorry, but my shout out this month, or this video, is going to be to WomanvsBooks. Now, Carrie Ann Davey is the host over there. Good. Anyway, Carrie Ann Davies, the one that runs WomanvsBooks, and she talks about a lot of the same books I do, right? So the mysteries, some romance. She's doing a Man Booker Prize project right now where she's reading some of the past Man Booker. I don't know if it's long list, short list, or winners, but that's really been an interesting series to watch her go through. And she really, enjoys talking about books, and I love watching her videos. So give her a shot. That is Carrie Ann at WomanvsBooks. And yeah, I'll put a link down below, so absolutely check her out. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!